There are 6 photographer types, which one are you? While we do find common ground through appreciating each other's images, it gets me thinking about the fundamentals of being a photographer. Distinctions between us are frequently described about either subject matter, i.e. news, still life, nudes, selfies, wilderness, etc., style black and white, abstract, panoramas, or technology large format, Leica, plastic camera, 35mm film, but I am starting to think it has something to do about the activity itself. What is it I like about taking pictures? What skills do I need or guidelines do I set for myself? So in this vein I propose that there are 6 photographer types. 1. The director. Studio photographs usually, but on location too. Photographer controls the subject, controls the light. The photographer is a director, sometimes of a crew. An artisan who works to make the frame perfect. The photographer is willing to fix issues in post, although usually small. It's all good, whatever it takes to get the shot or tell the story. This tends to be the domain of paid professionals, product photographers, but also fine artists and whimsical creators. Examples: Annie Leibovitz, Irving Penn, Karsh, Nigel Barker. 2. The sportsman. This photographer is a sort of hunter-gatherer, but the job mandates significantly more investment of time, and that distinction is important. Like shooting wildlife, sports, or a newsworthy event. It takes patience, which is occasionally rewarded. They know how to wait for the rare thing to happen in front of the camera. Which takes planning, like a heist. This is a wildlife photographer, but could also be a sports photographer or photojournalist. Examples: Franz Lanting, Neil Leifer. 3. The explorer. A sort of hunter for subjects that don't move. A sort of sportsman, but chasing light, not dynamic subjects. Landscapes, architecture, still lifes to varying degree. The photographer has time to figure things out, find the right angle, set up the exposure. The subjects can't be or won't be controlled. Examples: Eugene Atget, Berenice Abbott, Ansel Adams. 4. The anarchist. A hip shooter, snapshooter, taking discordant captures of the world, out of windows, while walking, often uncomposed or at least not formally composed. Often with Dutch angles, blurry subjects and harsh lighting. Examples: Gary Winogrand. 5. The hunter-gatherer. The fun is in finding moments and catching things on the fly, composing frames dynamically, being a candid observer of the world. They're sometimes funny, or curious, or visually captivating. There's no "look here" or "smile." There's almost no post-production, often limited cropping and basic darkroom types of tuning, but pixels aren't moved. Frequently a street shooter. A sort of purist. A lot of monochromatic work. Examples: Henri Cartier-Bresson, André Kurtish, Elliot Erwitt, Magnum photojournalists. 6. The illustrator. Images captured are a starting point, the raw materials of creation. Through creative post-production more elements are added, adjusted, cut, modified. Pictures are a photographic art form, not any sort of snapshot. Just how much post-production will vary, but images aren't meant to be journalistic so much as creations. Pixels are manipulated. Multiple exposures. Examples: Jerry Uelsman, Maggie Taylor, Russell Brown. Even with the same kind of camera and a similar type of subject, none of these photographers approaches a picture the same way, nor has the same kind of training or experience or interest in the photo, and dare I say, would have relatively little to teach one another. I wondered for a moment whether most photographers were generally a mix of these attributes, but in most cases a person gets into photography and loves the activity for some aspect that fits their personality. The hunter is serendipitous, the director is not, the sportsman has enormous patience, the anarchist does not, and so on.